Hey, shine a light over here real quick. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A little bright there, buddy, a little bright. Let's get into this video and see what this thing is actually made of. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Outdoor Gear. My name's Aaron Bottoms, and today we're going to be talking about another essential item for house and home, which everybody should have, whether or not you're going camping, hunting, just living day to day. This is something you need to have on hand. We're talking about flashlights. Not this flashlight here. This is your standard handheld. Get it from Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, whatever it may be. We're not even talking about this guy here, who's your standard little handy dandy headlamp that I love. Use these things every single day. I put the chickens away with this one here and make sure they're good for the night, but always hanging on the hook. The Danforce Bold-S. It is a ultra bright 1080 lumen light headlamp that you're going to put on top of your head for anything you're going to be doing. I've always envied these. I've always wanted one of these, but I always worked a job that just gave me one, so I never paid for one out of pocket. So let's see what this is made of and what it compares to those other ones at. Alrighty, let's take it out of the package here. We'll switch over. So, comes with your package that you can put it in when you're not using it. You got a little carabiner so you can hook to your backpack, whatever you may need to do if you're going camping and want to keep it handy. Bring it out of here. You've got your batteries. Great, those are rechargeable. Your light itself. Cool. Here's your little cord to charge it back up. Get rid of the trash. And it comes with some instructions with the YouTube video, how to use it properly, everything like that. Keep that in mind. If you want to, maybe we'll list the description or list the link so that you can go to this video and see what they say about it. You know, they're going to be a little bit biased, more biased than I am. So, yeah, you can hook it up to your laptop. You can hook it up to an external charger. All that. Cool. Alright, let's get into this here. Alright, before we get into putting the batteries, let's look at the battery pack itself. So the outside here looks like nice hard plastic. Not really going to break that up too much. There's a seal on here, this rubber seal, which I'm always more of a fan of a clip. Get this open here. That is to seal out dust and water. We'll see how that holds up. It's just got a little piece of rubber here holding on to this little key ring. But that goes over top. That's going to cover up any water that's going in. It's going to keep it from getting dusty. It's going to keep all the debris out so that your batteries stay nice and dry. Alright, so we'll put the batteries in here. They both go in the same way, it looks like. Alright, and then we'll take our cover. We'll slap it back over top. And it's already picking up a little debris from the table because this is a wood tabletop here. Alright, got to make sure that's closed all the way. Close all the seals up. We don't want anything getting in, so again, I like a little bit of a clip, but that's just me. Alright, now your light itself is adjustable front and back, so you can lean it back, lean it forward. Your button up top here is what's going to turn it on. Alright, so you've got your first one. Beware, we'll get a zoom in up here, hot. This portion apparently gets hot. So keep in mind, if you've got small kids or you're working somewhere where you can't have a lot of heat being generated off of your equipment, keep that in mind. That's a little worrisome, but at the same time, it probably doesn't get hot enough to really burn you unless you're holding on to it real tightly. And if it's cold outside, maybe you want a little bit of heat to be generated off. But there's your first light mode there. You got your single. Then you got your two outside. All three, which is great. That's going to be wonderful if you really need that extra pack of light. Then you've got a strobe. If you hold this button down for 3 seconds, you got your red. So all those have a little bit different feature. I mean, obviously your light itself is going to be strictly for seeing. You just want to be able to see. However, if you need the strobe light, if you click through, that's going to be able to alert somebody from far away. They're going to see that strobe. Great. Or the red, Usually red indicates that you need somebody, but in the hunting world, we use this for tracking deer or seeing the eyes of different animals, and they don't really see the light back as being a threat versus a standard light. They see that actually illuminating. So keep that in mind. Another cool feature is we've got this little bit of zoom in and out here, and we'll switch over here so you can see it on this camera. So you can zoom in and out, kind of increase that view of aim, get wider, or bring it dialed in if you need to see something more directly, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the basic features of them. These right here unscrew just to access the wires and things like that. I wouldn't mess with that too much. The overall makeup of it seems to be more of a plastic. This isn't even metal. All this is plastic. So we'll see how that holds up. This part up here feels metal. Feels to be metal. I'm sure it's just a pot metal. It's nothing crazy. But everything else is pretty much plastic. You've got some good pull on these. You got your wire that runs from your battery pack up to your light here. And when you turn this thing on, you've got illumination back here. The nice thing is it's a little bit collapsible. I was worried about it being a little bit bigger, but again, it comes with this pouch here that you can put it back into and store it if you're not using it often. Now, most people using it on their hard hats are going to keep it on there all the time, and it's going to make it real nice and easy. You can put your hard hat down, you hook your charger up, and when you're ready to go, when you got to leave again, you just grab your hard hat. I personally haven't used this before in the hunting world. They're a little bit more bulky. I like to be able to throw it in my blind bag, so that's going to be a big thing for me is how much I can condense this. You know, you can condense it down like that, you can put it in a pocket, you're ready to go. How it holds up, we'll also see. It says it is water resistant and dust resistant, and for the most part, this seal here on the back of this rubber piece is what that's indicating, is that this is water resistant, it's dust proof, or dust resistant, but you never really know until you test the product and get it out there and see what it is made of. So we're going to do a little bit of a comparison to start off with this light versus our other headlamp versus our handheld. We're going to start with our handheld flashlight, which is 150 lumens, and that's what you get. You get just one little light. Now this is your cheap Walmart, Home Depot, whatever light. It only produces 150 lumens, and it only costs you about $7. So keep that in mind. Just a cheap one, handheld, easy grab, whatever. Now we've got our other headlamp, which comes with 3 functions here. So you've got your brightest setting here, which is just a widespread light. It's not very direct, but that's going to be your 415 lumens. And then it drops down to 250 lumens, which you can still kind of see on camera here. And then you go down to 58 lumens, which you can barely see on camera. Hopefully that's showing up for you. Now, this one also has a red and a green, which the green is for tracking, usually tracking game, helps you see blood a little bit, and the red is more for the alert since you don't have that strobe. Now we switch over to our actual Danforce here, the Bold-S, and there is your 1080 lumen, and again, you can make this thing nice and wide, even as wide as the other headlamp we had, or you can bring it down and have more of a direct light, like so. Just pinpoint things. You add in your side ones, that's all you get. You just get your main focus. They're not adjustable. You just get one center light that's actually pretty big comparative to your handheld. All 3 together. Again, you've got a little bit bigger space of light that you're seeing, a little bit more of a wider array, but you can open this guy out. You've got your 2 outside lights going, and you've got your center light. So you've got your wider view from your center light because you can adjust it, and then your 2 outside lights are giving one center pinpoint. And now you've got your strobe, which is great. Hopefully nobody's affected by that. And then you got your red, which is very wide right now, but again, you can take that red and you can dial it down, which is actually really nice. So if you need to pinpoint something red, but if you need a wide view, that's great. Your other headlamp didn't have that effect, and it wasn't nearly as bright. So that's actually pretty cool. You can see a lot. Actually, hopefully you can see that really well coming through the camera. If I haven't mentioned this already, all these little lights are LEDs, so they're not gonna burn out in the standard way a light bulb would. Another LED. And of course, you've got your 3 LEDs on this guy here, which is pretty nice. I bought one of these before, and I was a little mean to it right off the get-go, and it didn't hold up. I think that was a more me problem than a item problem. However, we're gonna start off a little bit lighter, but we are gonna work our way up and see how this thing holds up to the environment, holds up to some impacts, all that stuff that we'd like to do to test this product. So this kind of item is not just dictated to hunting or fishing or camping or whatever. You find a lot of people in the industrial side of work having to wear hard hats like I've got on here. You're going to find a lot of those people needing headlamps. We go in dark places, we go in confined spaces, you know, we work at night, everything like that. So hard hats are a great place for headlamps. So a standard thing is I went ahead and grabbed my hard hat here, and I want to see how this holds up to hitting it against something, because we're working down here, we're doing our stuff, and you know, we hit it. It happens all the time, you know, it gets bumped on. Okay, no big deal. It's a little easier to bump on, but you're going to kind of notice that at night. During the day, not so much. But if you're coming up, I mean, you're hitting stuff. Okay, it fell off there. There's ways to secure this, and that's fine. But again, slide back on, and ready to go again. You know, I'm wearing a hard hat for safety because I want to show you what we're doing here. But this is just pretty standard, you know. People, they hit their heads on stuff, and you know, I'll take it off here. You bump up and down, you know. You want to see what the damage is going to be. Hitting your head on stuff is very common in the workplace. You want to look and see where you're going to hit your head is, but when you come up quickly, somebody calls your name, you got to be able to trust that it's going to stay on there. And right now, this thing is sliding off very easily. Like I said, there's clips on here. There's ways to secure this down better, but it shouldn't be coming off quite so easily, in my opinion. You know, quick jerk of the head, and that thing slid off already. So keep that in mind. Already took a little bit of damage up here just from bumping up there, but still runs, still works. The other test that they were doing, they talked about it being dust proof. So just want to drag this thing around a little bit. You know, again, camping, hunting, fishing, your product gets in the dirt, it gets in the mud, all that stuff. We want to see how this battery pack here, how that protection, that little piece of rubber back here holds up to all this stuff. So we'll just drag it around a little bit and see how protective it is. All right, still works, that's a plus. Let's pop this open and see if anything got inside. Nice and clean, doesn't look like anything got in there. All right, so moving forward with this back piece here, we got it dirty. Another environment you're gonna face is getting it wet. Whether it be rain, whether it falls into a pond, whatever else, you want to see how this thing's going to do against some water, a little bit of rainfall. So before we get into the real crazy stuff, we're going to just rinse it off a little bit. Still cuts on. So we'll open up this thing. We'll try to clean this off a little bit before we open it, but yeah, nice and dry in there, so that's good for now until this back piece comes off. I mean, it's not gonna take too much for this piece to come off. I'm gonna tell you that now. So that's gonna be a downside, but we shall get to that. All right, again, like our little bit of impact testing, we want to see how this thing does to falling from a higher place. Whether you're in a tree stand or you're up on a construction ladder, whatever it may be, we want to know that this thing can take falling. You know, nothing crazy, just a little bit of height. We're tossing it, you know, your battery just came out. Okay, well, if you drop it on something high up in the air, your battery comes out. That's a downside. Again, this flap does not close and stay tight in the way that I like it to. Up, and one real high one. All right, the question is, does it work? And the answer is yes. She's still kicking. Although this back thing didn't hold up, but, oh, there we go, that broke. So, there's a break. Plastic piece broke off, so now you're gonna have to use duct tape to hold this thing on. All right, so we're in the crawl space here, and as you can see, we're shining the light at that back wall. It's a little hard to see, but that's about 30 yards. You know, that's with our longest pinpoint big lens dialed all the way in. If we dial it out, you notice we can see a little bit closer. You know, get your pillars there. It's pretty bright. I mean, it's hard to see on camera, but I can see all of my crawl space at the moment. It's not really representative because you can't see it, but not too bad. All right, so this has been running consecutively for about 2 hours now, and it's still going, still doing its thing. So I didn't think we needed to do an 8-hour test, which is rated for 8 hours, but the battery life can change. It can go a little bit longer, it can go a little bit shorter, and quite frankly, I don't have the camera battery power to record for 8 hours straight. So I think 2 hours is a good representation of a battery life. If I'm putting out decoys in the morning, if it takes me more than 2 hours, I'm doing something wrong. If I'm camping and I'm doing something in the dark for 2 hours, I'm doing something wrong. Or if you're working somewhere, you're going to have breaks in between that you're going to be able to charge this thing up if it does die, or you'll have a backup lamp, headlight, whatever it may be. You're going to be charging this thing every so often, and you should be charging it anytime after you use it because you don't want to be left in the dark to say. So, with that being said, the other things about this thing, we did review or started to review another one, and I got a little too brake happy, and it fell apart on me. I slammed it against some rocks. I threw it in the air a little bit, and I hit it against the door, and it fell apart on me. And so I think that was more of a me thing. I went too brutal or too hard on it right out the get-go. So we went ahead and got another one and actually did a little bit more of a proper review, slowed things down. We're still trying to give you the best idea of what this product is made of. And, you know, I think this was a better representation because it still works. It's still doing its job. And I wasn't too mean to it. I was a little bit mean to it. One thing to notate, this rubber piece back here definitely will come off. I mean, it stretches a little bit, but if I gave that a good tug, it's coming off. I don't think I have to show you that because, let's face it, you can see for yourself. So if you get this, be careful because that is one thing that will break off. Another thing is these two clips back here that hold it together. Those break off pretty easily, in my opinion. A couple slams on the ground and they came off. If you're anything like me, you know, things fall off your head. You step on them. You know, you're working in construction or whatever, and you lift your head up and your light falls off. Things happen, and they need to be durable when it comes to what we're doing in the outdoor world. If you're just doing recreational camping and you're not, you know, you're going to be pretty light on your equipment, this is not a bad option. Plus, $35. $35 is all it costs to get this light. And, you know, the Coast that I showed y'all earlier, the small one that doesn't have as many features, it only has half the amount of lumens, that's $40. You know? And we'll do a review on one of those later on in life. But right now we're focused on this Danforce, and for $35, not a bad thing. You get a lot of lumens, baby it a little bit more, and it's going to last you. This is still going to work for me because, hey, I can duct tape these things, slap it on my hat, and it's good to go. I don't even care, you know, even like just the way it is, I can do what I need to do. It's on my head, you know. Gravity back here is going to keep this strap in place for the most part, and we're fine. You know, tighten it down, making sure it's gonna stay on there, and she's good to go. So I hope this was all helpful. I hope this was useful, and I hope this was helpful if you were looking for a headlamp for the next season, or for work in general. If you're going on the construction site and you need a nice headlamp, or the safety guy, give this video a look, and maybe you can get these. Maybe this is not what you're looking for and you want something a little bit better that's going to last you longer. That's up to you to decide. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see so we can get it in and reviewed for you. Thank you.